Hello my little giblets, and welcome back to something I bet you didn't expect. That's right, Cities Skylines. The old one that has all the wonderful mods that I still enjoy to this very day. And welcome to my little Romanian/Japanese island, Similand. Over 36 neighborhoods with commercial plazas at every corner, where huge infrastructure projects are being built and public funds siphoned away, where the maglev trains run in the middle of the city, and giant corporations have bought over 10% of the land, a place where our beautiful water parks are built conveniently just outside the city. Don't worry, we got transportation over here. Like barely anybody uses. And lest we forget about our beautiful industry that keeps our city nice and strong. Perhaps you want to live the suburban lifestyle, or gamble away your savings. A gambler's and shopper's utopia. We've got it all. Anyway, goofy intro aside, this is my city, and over the course of the past 2.5 years, I made what you see before you. I've built many amenities in this place. As you saw in the intro, I talked about shopping places and relaxing places, and we're gonna visit all of them because we're doing a little overview of all the stuff that I've currently built on my little island. Let's start off by traveling to the city as if we're just moving in. Now, as you can see somewhere around here, the government-sponsored Bridge to Nowhere goes into the ether to summon more people to come live in my city. Over here is where I realized that the highway had to go the opposite way, so I did a little crisscross. And over here, as you drive right in, the magnificent sights of industry. Any place has to have industry, as far as I'm aware. And so ours is just offshore, a little bit hidden. Over here we have the power plant of the city, including a little transformer and a solar plant. Behind that, as you drive forward, you get into the city proper. And right here, this entire area I've left empty. Hopefully with this video, I'll have the resurrected inspiration to continue building more. Right here, as we fly on in, we have a McDonald's on the right with a drive-in and a KFC. And here we have a beautiful asset, the American Hotel. And of course, I couldn't just leave it undecorated. It has to have a little kebab stand just in front. Over yonder, we have the town hall, and right in front of it, a beautiful little arch. A mid-18th century train station, complete with Burger King. Down this street, we have the main transportation system into the city. A bunch of trams, and it gets real clogged real fast. Just as designed. Over here, a nice little neighborhood full of joined houses. Ads aplenty, perhaps even an anime store. An old-timey church and the water tower, overlooked by the sign. Yes, I did make a Hollywood sign, what about it? Looks cool, okay? Whoa, this plane is way too close, just as designed. Here we have a botanical garden and the Japanese business street. Of course, how could I even forget our Olympic Stadium, complete with giant pools and racing tracks, athletes' quarters, and so much more stuff crammed in. A starry-shaped kindergarten. Beautiful asset, by the way. Our state-of-the-art school. And I did genuinely try to make every bit of the city look like it's been lived in and like habitable and not just plonked there. I tried to build every street, plonk down every detail, add building umbrella and even bollards, to the point that I missed some right in the middle of the street here. Alas, that's called a problem for future me. By the way, if you can't tell, I tried to sort of replicate the look of New York City in this corner right here. I don't know if I did a good job, but I did put like a heck of a lot of ads. I also added a giant Washington statue in the middle, just to make it even more obvious. I tried to sort of think about every type of person that could be moving into the city. At first I started with some smaller buildings, and then I built little neighborhoods, and that grew into a bigger city, and into a bigger city. Eventually we needed places to house the rich. Ignore the fire. I built some GTA 5 style mansions on the hillsides, complete with pools and tennis gardens. This one's my favorite. If ever there was a house I wanted, it would be this one. Look at that cool Studio Ghibli mural. That's awesome. Enjoy your basketball, gentlemen. Private pool. And the view to kill for. But lest I forget the little people, it's not all about rich folks here. We also have slums and unfinished buildings galore, right next to skate parks, just to get the vibe right. Heading on down, we're reaching the Strip. Overlooking the beautiful, I guess, Atlantic Ocean are our pristine beaches, where you can buy all sorts of SpongeBob memorabilia. And if you're feeling a little more private, we also have our very own private gated armed community. Welcome to San Suu Kyi Gated Community. Thank you for visiting. Thank you for coming. Thank you for living here. So yeah, you can do all your living and shopping here. We have a pawn shop and a storage, and a giant statue of a lady. If you're bored of living alone, hop on a tram and go to the casino, where you'll find all sorts of amenities. Another fun idea I had was to build a giant casino on the island, and this is exactly what I've done. This is the actual casino from real life. You might remember the other side of the casino, but safe to say that one's a tad on the huge side. So I went with a little more reasonable, still ginormous building. But let me tell you, is it ever attracting the tourists? Look at them go. They're just swarming in. Because in my headcanon, I feel like this island would have attracted a lot of tourism, and so maybe a huge company would have been like, sure, let's spend like $2 billion building a giant building on your island. Not very realistic, I'm gonna be honest, but hey, I feel like it fits, so I'm keeping it. I also love the huge golf course behind, where you can just imagine every rich person spending their afternoons. And a pond with a siren. I also considered where would they put stuff like big box stores, and I thought, why not here, in what I would imagine is a cheaper side of the city, up on the hill, sort of close to suburbs. I made this huge waste of concrete, shopping center. Which yeah, does bring in quite a lot of tourists, not gonna lie. They also bring in quite a lot of trucks, so that's a big issue that I had to work around. As you can see, I don't actually have many traffic issues even though the city is packed. We have over 28,000 population and I'm making over 20k weekly, and that's sort of real cash. I'll tell you why it's not real cash in a second, but you'll just have to bear with me. So as you can see, my entire city is predicated upon the fact that people come in constantly to spend time, to just chill, which means that I have a lot of public transportation, a lot of parks, a lot of greenery, and most importantly of all, I have those tourism spots. The city is just about dotted everywhere with places you can visit and spend your money. You may not very well be aware, but sadly in the base game, you can't actually make very much money on tourism at all because for some reason they decided tourism wasn't that important. Well, I said, why not fix that? So now my tourism income is just a little over 100 times more. Just a little increase. You know how it is. With that little tweak, it means that my commercial zones are making from tourism over $75,000 per week. And that means that my city's income overwhelmingly comes from tourism, which means that I can keep my taxes low and my people happy. I would say that at this point the island is over 80% done. I obviously have a few little gaps that I gotta fill. I especially feel bad about the tiny little village I made over yonder, but I never actually got to finish. I wanted to put paths everywhere and fences and make it look all Japanesey. But hey, I feel like I did a lot more than I left empty. We even have a tiny brook streaming from the middle of the island and making its way through most of the city until eventually ending in the ocean. I thought it would be fun to just follow a person going in the city and see about their day. Well, you're not very helpful. Alright, I guess we'll follow somebody else. And here we have the hordes. Good golly. So that's where you people come from, huh? And I guess that's my stop. And so is yours, my beautiful little giblets. Thank you for coming on with me. As we visited what is essentially my longest running project yet. A living, breathing city where I try to consider all the amenities that people could ever wish for and decorate every place, a blend between a culture that I know and a culture that I don't. Thanks for joining me in Similand, a city that's hopefully at least 80% as real as yours. I hope you enjoyed this little overview at the city of Similand. And I'll see you in the next video of whatever I make. Bye bye.